DETV News is powered by DART, Delaware's transit service. Moving forward.
Tonight, energy bill outrage.
You have no paperwork, you have no evidence, you have no documents. We have evidence, we have our bills. And sadly enough, I would like to say that I will see you in court. Now,
Delawareans are furious over skyrocketing energy bills at a packed town hall. Delaware Power and our legislators face tough questions from residents. Plus, a terrifying attempted kidnapping in Wilmington, but one quick-thinking dog saved the day. We'll tell you how this brave pup thwarted the suspect's plans. And nationwide spending blackout, protest of corporate greed sweep the nation tomorrow. Will Delaware join in? Find out what to expect from this movement and how it's aiming to take an impact on major retailers. Those stories and much more, plus your local forecast and sports headlines straight ahead. DETV News starts now. Hello and welcome to DETV News for this Thursday, February 27th. I'm Matt Ford. Here's what's making headlines today across the first state. A nationwide economic blackout is set for Friday, February 28th, organized by the People's Union USA to protest what they are calling corporate greed and political corruption in America. Founder John Schwartz claims mega corporations have inflated prices and ignored workers' needs. During the blackout, participants are encouraged to refrain from spending at major retailers like Target and Walmart, which will remain open. Social media has amplified the movement, with users urging others to join in the effort to reclaim consumer power. And speaking of power, here at home, residents across Delaware are seeing soaring energy bills, with many saying the increases simply don't make sense. At a town hall Wednesday night, Delaware Power customers voiced frustration over skyrocketing costs. The company blamed cold weather and increased usage, but residents pushed back, saying their bills have doubled despite normal energy use. Delaware lawmakers are working on financial relief measures, but some say it's not enough.
you are not being transparent. That's number one. Number two, I recently purchased my home here in Wilmington, Delaware 2 years ago, and my bill was significantly different. I'm originally from New York, and they do things differently there, so I am actually very disappointed in the lack of transparency, dishonesty, and being unprepared for this meeting. Now, everything that you have mentioned, right, everything that you have mentioned, it sounds good, but it is not accurate information. You did a lot of double talking this evening, okay? And that was very rude. You have no paperwork, you have no evidence, you have no documents. We have evidence, we have our bills. And sadly enough, I would like to say that I will see you in court. Now,
Delaware Power is waiving late fees and suspending disconnections through March. Customers struggling to pay their bills can find resources at delmarva.com/bill support, or you can call 1-800-375-7117 for assistance. And in Sussex County, it's moving into the final phase of its year-long project to revalue nearly 200,000 parcels countywide. County officials say that they've received the final assessment rolls from Tyler Technologies. That's the project's vendor, and they'll begin the appeals process in March. Homeowners can now view their reassessments online. Officials say that nearly 11,000 informal appeals have been filed so far. The final tax rate will be set in May or June, with bills going out in August. The county's new property tax calculator, which is now available online, helps homeowners estimate their upcoming tax bills based on new assessments. Sussex officials encourage residents to visit property.sussexcountyde.gov for more information. Some homeowners say the new assessments are simply too high, adding that they plan to file a formal appeal. Sussex County officials urge residents to use the calculator online to estimate their new tax bills. And the Department of Government Efficiency, also known as DOGE, has announced the closure of 6 Delaware real estate leases, part of a broader initiative targeting 250 locations, notably 3 sites linked to the Department of Defense and U.S. Secret Service in Rehoboth Beach will close, attributed to reduced need following the former president's departure. In Wilmington, 2 Secret Service sites and 1 DoD location also face closures. These actions are projected to save taxpayers approximately $1.45 million annually. DOGE claims overall savings could reach $65 billion, pending verification. To crime news now, where a 10-year-old girl is safe tonight after her dog stopped an attempted kidnapping here in Wilmington. Police say it happened around 6:30 p.m. Monday evening on the 2900 block of North Harrison Street. Police say a man tried to take the girl but ran off after being bitten by her dog. She was not injured. Authorities are asking for the public's help, though. The suspect is described as a white male between 5'5" and 5'9", with a thin build, wearing all black and a face covering. He was last seen running toward North Van Buren Street. Anyone with information or surveillance footage is urged to call detectives at 302-824-3751. And Delaware State Police have identified 32-year-old Mark Worley of Wilmington as the 4th suspect in a series of grave robberies at All Saints Cemetery. A warrant has been issued for his arrest on multiple felony theft charges. 3 other suspects, 34-year-old Thomas Hudson, 32-year-old Ashley Newcomb, and 37-year-old Alzona Mosley, have already been arrested. Between September and November of last year, nearly 200 bronze vases valued at over $100,000 were stolen and sold to a recycling center. And in other crime news, 35-year-old Alondo Dale has been sentenced to 20 years in prison for the 2012 murder of Peter DeSabatino. He was a 20-year-old student at the time. The incident occurred over a drug payment dispute outside Studio Green Apartments in Newark. After years of investigation, Dale pleaded guilty to second-degree murder in September. Delaware Attorney General Kathy Jennings emphasized the tragedy of gun violence, while police praised the relentless efforts of investigators in bringing justice to the victim's family. And a 45-year-old teacher from Kirk Middle School named David DeFilippo is facing multiple felony charges today, including sexual solicitation of a minor and sexual abuse by a person of trust. Delaware State Police reported that DeFilippo engaged in sexually explicit conversations with a student via social media and allegedly made inappropriate contact during school hours. He turned himself in and was released on a $65,500 bond. He has been removed from the school's roster. And in response to a road rage shooting on I-95 near Newark, state police are urging drivers to prioritize their safety. The incident involving a Maryland man and an SUV driver on February 17th resulted in gunfire, but luckily no injuries. Corporal Amina Ali emphasized the importance of staying calm and avoiding confrontation. Drivers are advised to report aggressive behavior, give space while driving, and seek safety in public areas if you're followed. Remember, you control your reactions on the road. And contractors will kick off a year-long rehabilitation project for 2 northbound I-95 bridges near Newport starting Friday night, February 28th. That's tomorrow. Delaware Department of Transportation spokesman C.J. McLeod announced that the highway will be reduced from 5 to 4 lanes throughout the project. The bridges, built back in 1959 and 1966, require extensive repairs, including new bridge joints and deck surfaces. The project aims to minimize traffic disruptions for the daily 100,000 cars that use that route. Completion is expected to be done in spring of 2026. And speaking of transportation, the Wilmington and Western Railroad is hitting the brakes for the 2025 season to make much-needed repairs, it says, to its historic trains and infrastructure. The board stated that the decision aims to conduct essential maintenance on their historic steam and diesel engines, ensuring their long-term viability. While no reopening date has been provided, the railroad's general manager says that he's confident the railroad will be back up and running within a year. This isn't the first time the railroad has shut down for repairs, having previously resumed operations after damage from major storms in 1999 and then again in 2003. Operating in the Red Clay Valley for nearly 60 years, the railroad has been a popular destination for scenic excursions as well as some private events. So if your weekend plans included heading to the Wilmington and Western Railroad, well, now you're going to have to wait a year or so, but not to worry. For this weekend, our Shakara Denise always has you covered with the weekend events and happenings all along the state of Delaware, and of course, her famous forecast. Let's check in with her now. Hey, Shakara.
Hey, Matt, and hello, DETV fam. Let's dive right into your weekend weather forecast and highlight some exciting events happening around Wilmington. On Feel Good Friday, the day kicks off with some gorgeous sunshine, but expect increasing clouds as we move into the afternoon. It will be windy with temperatures peaking around 47 degrees and dipping to the 30s in the evening. This will be a perfect evening to enjoy indoor events such as the evening with Sutton Foster at the Playhouse on Rodney Square. And this just in, this event has been rescheduled. She will perform in April, but not to worry, it'll still be a fantastic event. Now, switching gears to Saturday, expect a breezy day with milder temperatures reaching up to 55 degrees. The morning will offer some sun, but clouds will gather as the day progresses. And there is a slight chance of a shower, so instead of being outdoors, why don't you visit the Permian Monsters exhibit at the Delaware Museum of Nature and Science, where you can step back into time and discover ancient creatures. And wrapping up the weekend on Sunday, the breeze continues into the morning, bringing cooler temperatures with a high of 38 degrees and a chilly low, of 21 degrees. Despite the cold, the sun will be shining brightly, making it a great day to visit the Winter Wonder display at Longwood Gardens. You can experience the beauty of nature in its winter splendor. Whatever your plans are, make sure to dress accordingly and enjoy all that Delaware has to offer this weekend. Enjoy your weekend, everyone. Back to you, Matt.
Longwood Gardens is always a good idea in my book. Thanks, Shakara. We'll see you again next week. In other headlines tonight, the Newark Library is closing its doors for the final time this Friday tomorrow, ahead of its demolition to make way for a new state-of-the-art facility. Library officials are urging patrons to return any outstanding items before the closure tomorrow, but if you can't make it by Friday, don't worry, books and materials can be returned to any Newcastle County library. The new library, scheduled to open in 2027, will feature esports spaces, a demo kitchen, outdoor areas, and a 160-seat performance space. That's cool. In the meantime, library staff will continue to offer programs at other branches of the library, so check out the website for more. To some somber news this evening, the Millville, Ocean View, and Bethany Beach communities are heartbroken tonight over the loss of Brett Danver. Brett was a cherished employee at Giant Foods for nearly 20 years. 52-year-old Danver apparently collapsed at work on February 20th, with his cause of death yet unknown. Known for his kindness and love of conversation, he was a friend to many, especially children and regular customers. The community has shown an overwhelming amount of support with heartfelt messages and a tribute sign honoring him. And the iconic SS United States, a 1,000-foot ocean liner known for breaking transatlantic speed records back in 1952, it departed from Philadelphia's Delaware River on Wednesday, marking the start of its final journey. Towed to Mobile, Alabama, the vessel will undergo preparations before being sunk off of Florida's Gulf Coast as the world's largest artificial reef. Officials hope it will become a major diving attraction, generating millions in tourism. The process is expected to take at least 18 months. And now shifting gears from history on the water to action on the court and the mat, Nick is here in the house with the latest in Delaware sports. Hey there, Nick.
Thanks, Matt. And winter high school playoffs are now in full force. Round one of the boys and girls basketball is in the books. And now we look ahead to tonight's action and beyond with round two Thursday and the quarterfinals coming up this upcoming Saturday and Sunday. Plus, the individual wrestling state championships are getting underway Friday down at Cape Henlopen. But let's begin with a basketball update and look at the DIAA boys basketball tournament as the boys started their postseason with round one on Tuesday. As you can see that on your screen, the results popping up for you there. Odessa over Laurel, 78-61. Smyrna over Sussex Central. Middletown comes back. They were down early. They get the win over MOT Charter. St. Andrews and Dickinson went back and forth in that one with the Saints coming out on top. William Penn held off a tough early college team. Appo, a close win over Lake Forest, and St. Mark's over D of A, and Cape Henlopen with a close win over Wilmington. Friends, those scores courtesy of the DIAA. So those are your round 1 scores. So that takes us into round 2 tonight. And here's the action that will be coming up here on a Thursday evening. You see round 2, Dover and St. Andrews, Salesianum and St. Mark's. The Holy War tonight, I'll be on the call for that one. St. George's and William Penn, Conrad and going up against Smyrna, St. Elizabeth's, Appoquinimink, Howard and Odessa, Seaford and Cape Henlopen, and then Sanford and Middletown. So some big up matchups coming up as teams look to punch their ticket here coming up to the quarterfinals. So now let's take a look at the overall boys bracket now. You just saw some of the matchups coming up, so let's take at it a whole perspective on it here as we're going to flash that on your screen. So there's the whole bracket coming up. Again, we have round 2 tonight, and then the quarterfinals on Saturday and Sunday. Doubleheaders for the boys and girls at different locations, and then, of course, championships coming up next weekend. Well, that's the boys' side of things. So now let's check in with the girls on the hardwood. And they got started with their playoff journeys on Monday and finished up their second round on Wednesday night. So let's take a look at some of these scores from round 2. They're going to be on your screen here. Sanford dealing with a bunch of injuries. They still get the win here over Cape Henlopen, 57-54. What a game that was. The Vikings playing tough in that one. Padua and Archmere, another close one there at the Pandas, squeaking out a 44-38 victory. Polytech over Seaford, 54-34. DMA battles back against Friends, another great matchup there. Maya Hill, the big game. They win 37-28. Smyrna, been one of the best teams all year long. They take down Tower Hill 82-54. Ursuline over Howard as they're looking to go to back-to-back state championships. Caravel over Hodson, and St. E's over Indian River. So in girls basketball, our quarterfinals are set for the weekend as we now show you the entire bracket here for the girls coming up. So again, we have some different seedings coming at you this year. Again, Ursuline trying to go back-to-back with Gigi. She's having another phenomenal season. The whole team looking good coming in. Sanford battling injuries. They got a big win over Ursuline late in the year. So again, a couple different teams. Caravel, everybody left still alive. A lot of parity here in both the boys and girls brackets here this year. Now to the wrestling mat as the top 16 wrestlers at each weight will now compete for a state title this weekend. Matches are set to begin for the DIAA Individual Wrestling State Tournament on Friday at 4 p.m. at Cape Henlopen High School. Quarterfinals will follow at 7 p.m. later that night with consolation rounds set to begin Saturday at 10 a.m. The semifinals will begin Saturday roughly at 11 a.m. in the morning, and then the state finals will get started tentatively at 7 p.m. later that Saturday night. Again, you can see the DIAA Wrestling Championships. Tickets are on sale now. You can get them. You just got to go to gofan.com again, and you see that link on your screen. So again, costs are $5 for Friday, $8 for Saturday's early session, and then $10 for the final session. And for all the latest Delaware wrestling updates, follow along with 302 Sports and Benny Mitchell on Facebook and Twitter. They'll get you all the unnecessary info there. Again, a lot to keep up with. Malachi Stratton's going for a 200th win in the state of Delaware. That would be a record. Caravel's Eddie Decky going for a 5-time state championship as he won it as an 8th grader. And again, last year, only half of the number 1 seeds won titles. So a lot of storylines to keep up with here for the wrestling state tournament coming up this weekend. So boys and girls basketball, full swing. Wrestling coming to a close this weekend where some champions will be crowned. So things heating up in the winter here, guys. And then we're going to turn our focus to the spring here shortly, but it's been a fun winter and it's going to continue to be that here as we close it out.
Nick, as always, good to see you. Thank you for that report. We'll see you again next week. In other news this evening, Delaware State Representative Kendra Johnson has been recognized as one of USA Today's Women of the Year for her impactful work in politics and community service. Johnson, who represents the 5th District here in Delaware, began her journey at 14 years old, inspired by a divine calling to uplift others. Since taking office in 2018, she has championed legislation, including House Bill 374, which safeguards access to fertility services. Her commitment reflects her passion for helping others, inspired by her family's support. And finally tonight, we bring you a celebration of another extraordinary woman, Dorothy Baker of Wilmington. She turned 100 years young on February 19th. Baker, who was born in Louisiana, has 2 children, 6 grandchildren, 11 great-grandchildren, and listen to this, 10 great-great-grandchildren. How about that? Many were on hand Saturday evening for a festive party at the Christiana Hilton in Newark.
She never met her grandparents at all, and now she has great-grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren, so it's a blessing.
Family and friends traveled far and wide to show their appreciation for Miss Baker, who was a supervisor in the dietitian department at the Wilmington Medical Center for 25 years.
She just always opening her door to everyone, and everybody, even though she's, sometimes sharp with the tongue, everybody needs that sometimes, and so the honesty and the wisdom, like Quinn said, that's why she means a lot.
For her part, the guest of honor said that she was overwhelmed by the outpouring of love and support.
I'm just excited. I'm excited, overwhelmed. Just God has blessed me. That's all I can say.
And that's going to do it for this edition of DETV News. Can't think of a better way to end this show. Be sure to follow us all across your favorite social media platforms for more updates on what's happening all around the great state of Delaware. And if you have a comment, question, news, or sports tip, send it our way. We want to hear from you. Contact us at press@detvch.com. For Shakara, Nick, and all of us here at DETV News, I'm Matt Ford. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you right back here next week. Good night. We don't talk about prostate cancer enough, and it's the most diagnosed form of cancer and the second most common cause of cancer death among Black men in both Delaware and the United States. Approximately 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in their lifetime, but just by asking your healthcare provider if you should get a screening could help you detect prostate cancer early and save your life. So let's talk about it. Talk to your healthcare provider today about a prostate cancer screening if you are 40 years of age or older, or have a family history of prostate cancer. If you don't have insurance, or if your insurance doesn't pay for cancer screenings, Screening for Life may provide you with the screenings that you need, and Nurse Navigators make this process easier. To learn more, visit healthydelaware.org/prostate or call 211. Ask your healthcare provider about a prostate cancer screening, and you're asking for so much more.
My name is Jason Aviles, and I am the founder and owner of Fly Yogi, and I'm here to share with you some tips to be able to help fight opioid addiction. Opioid addiction is a real growing problem here in America, and I'm here to share with you some tips that you can be able to integrate into your everyday life to really fight against opioid addiction. One of the first things is redeveloping your mindset. One of the practices that I like to use daily is meditation. And what meditation does is it brings you clarity of mind, and it helps keep you grounded, and it improves your ability to make decisions that you are going to benefit from. A lot of the time we find that addiction is rooted in our mindset. It's rooted in how we think and how we perceive, and therefore how we act. So this is a really good way to help fight against that energy of addiction. The second thing is improving your lifestyle through diet and exercise. At the very root of addiction, there is substances within the body that's causing the addiction on a physical level. When we begin to introduce healthier foods, plant-based foods, we begin to remove and detox the substances that are in our body that's causing and attracting the addiction. So through incorporating more fresh fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, grains, and even drinking water on a daily basis, you're going to put your body in a state where it's going to be able to fight the root causes of these addictions. The second part is exercise. Exercise is good for mood. It's good for energy. It's good to increase vitality. It's good to get your heart pumping and get your blood flowing and get oxygen moving throughout the body. So through engaging in physical exercise, complemented by incorporating healthier foods, you're putting your body and your mind in a state where it does not want what's causing these things that are manifesting negatively in your life. So addiction can really be decreased by just incorporating a healthier lifestyle through diet and nutrition, exercise, and then also making sure that you're tackling the mind through mindset, through meditation.